you know.
It's
How you doing today?
That's good one too. I'm sorry, my iPad just dropped in the middle of me trying to answer your call. I'm good. How are you today?
Wonderful. It is Friday,
Mhm.
got paid. I got stuff to do though. But today is a good day. Today's Friday. We here.
You said you got stuff to do,
I got stuff to do.
so
You
it's
know,
not a free Friday.
I mean,
It's just a Friday.
it's a good Friday. It's we work.
Okay,
Listen,
okay. Nothing wrong with a little bit of good.
it's always good, because it's the weekend. So you work hard all week to get to
Be good.
Friday. So you get to Saturday and Sunday and back to Monday. But hey, it's Friday. I'm here. I'm blessed. How about you?
Where I can't complain. It's Friday. I am blessed. I was supposed to be traveling for the homegoing service for my uncle. I was hoping to travel last night so that I wouldn't have to cram any last things. But plans didn't go as planned,
Oh,
but it's all well. I checked in on the family just to make sure, they didn't need anything. So all is well from the response that I've gotten. And I'm still hoping to make it tomorrow. The service is not until tomorrow anyway, but
okay.
you know how you try to get there, especially when you haven't been around the family for a while. You try to, kind of have some reconnection time before the whole service, right?
Yeah, I
I guess
understand.
that's like what the wake is, right? The wake is kind of like that time to kind of reconnect without it being disrespectful or whatever. So
Yeah, yeah,
that's what my intentions were. That's what my intentions were.
yeah. Normally it's a 2 day thing. First day is the wake, and then the next day is usually the funeral. So
Yeah. So I may only make it to the service, and I wasn't able to make it for today, like the socializing or reconnecting part, or just being in the gap or standing with. We're doing whatever. But again, like you said, it's Friday. We're having some decent weather today. It's kind of like a drizzle off and on, but the sun is pushing through. So I'm always glad to see that little bit of a vitamin D. I already sat outside for a minute. I already had my couple minutes outside, and I'm always excited to come here on the real deal versus how you feel.
that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, the weather's pretty good here as well. So I mean, it's 67, but anytime the weather's over 50 degrees and the sun's out, it's gonna feel good. Now, as it get later and the sun goes down, yeah, you're gonna feel the coldness. But right now, it's beautiful out here. So I got some. I'm probably do some. I started some yard work this morning. I'm probably gonna finish it out today after this call here. So got things to do, but no rush. Got plenty of time.
Oh, you started some yard work, I see. Okay, that manual labor. All right, so getting your hands dirty a little bit.
Always,
All right.
that's what we men do. We get our hands dirty.
All right, so we here. We can go ahead and start. I'm about to try to share this. I figured it out one time. Every time it's like different. Every time I try to figure it out.
No problem. So the title
Oh, there you
today.
go. The right in my face.
So the title here today is Your Brother's Wife is Your Husband's New Boo. I had to read this like 5 times for it to click in my brain. Like, hold up, wait. Your brother's wife is your husband's new boo. How in the world did this happen? How did we get here? What did you watch? What did you watch
I
or
didn't
what?
watch anything. This is somebody's real life situation,
Oh
and
Lord.
I was in the room the other.
All right, she must got a call there. This is the real deal versus how you feel.
Sorry, I'm sorry. Oh yeah. Well, yeah. Let's do the introduction, and then we'll open the floor for where the topic really stems from, right? So I'll let you go ahead and do that. You open it up.
No problem. Welcome everyone. This is Twinsinc. This is the real deal versus how you feel with Ms. I Speak Life. And we come today on this beautiful Friday to have some open dialogue with solution driven, changing the narrative. And I think she say posture and position. Yes, I believe I said that right. But if you coming in today, thank you for tuning in. Show a little love, little hand waves. Let us know that you're listening, that you're in there. And anytime you want to chime in, please, even to say hi or you want to add to the topic, we always welcome the love. But as you see, the topic today is your brother's wife is your husband new boo. Your brother's wife is your husband's new boo. Oh, okay. All right. Wow. How did this happen? So I would assume that using one of those wonderful clubhouse rooms and heard this topic, right?
So I was actually in a room. It had nothing to do with nothing.
Uh-huh.
We were just in the room shooting the breeze almost. And one of the regulars in the room, she's sometimes a moderator, whatever. She's just she's usually in the space.
Okay.
She came in the room and she was like well, when I came in the room, she had just addressed the situation. So
Okay.
she didn't say what it was yet. She just addressed her energy concerning it. And she wasn't in her norm. Like when we come in this space, we all kind of shoot the breeze. There's no political hats. There's no responsibility hats. We kind of leave all of that stuff to the side and just like, hey, just checking in and checking up on one another.
Okay.
So she was just explaining, hey, my energy's going to be a little off today. I just got a call from my brother telling me to jump on this Zoom call court with his wife. It's the divorce court with his wife, and my ex-husband is on the call because my ex-husband and my brothers now, this is divorce court, who he's divorced and wife are in a relationship. Like, and initially you don't ask questions, right? Because this is someone's real life. So again, like I said, we're genuine people in this space. So you're
Okay.
not just about, oh my God, what happened? You don't jump into that.
No,
I
no,
me
no.
personally, as I
Right.
speak life don't, right? I try to be aware of the situation completely. So eventually, once she talked as much as she felt comfortable to saying and sharing whatever she shared, the first thing I did was offer, some type of um, assistance in terms of heartfelt words, empathy, all of that good stuff, because that's a dagger, that's a blow. Who wants to hear that? Who wants to go through that?
Right.
As we continue to be in the space, her cousin and her are both in the space. Her cousin ended up saying, someone made a comment. She said, no, like they're together, talking about her ex husband and her brother's ex wife are not just, in court together, but they're together, they're living together. They're established a life together. And they live in a smaller town, I guess, so it's kind of obvious, that these people are together. And that's just that. And I was just like, what? So, twins, I was like you. When I first heard her say what she said, she had to repeat it. And, not insensitively, just like, wait. You run that back by us again? We're not really sure we understood.
Right. Make sure we heard that right.
Did you just, right. Did you just say your brother called you to get on a Zoom that was his divorce situation? Because, they're doing court on Zoom now.
Right.
And your
That's crazy.
ex-husband was and she was like, yeah, he was signed in twice. She signed it under his name. And not to, be insensitive again, because this is someone's real life. But what ended up happening to me was you start thinking, like, what, like you said, how did we get here? And that's exactly what my mind went. How did we get here? And we hear about situations like this often when it concerns like going down memory lane. I just lost a loved one, like I just said. So there's a lot of things that's coming up. Oh, cousin such and such is also the sister to such and such. What? How did that happen? How did we get here? Who brother, cousin, sister, brother, aunt was doing what? And in this situation, think about the children, right? If you and I are brother and sister,
Mm-hmm.
and then our significant others become a couple, what does that say for the children? What are they? Siblings and cousins.
Right. They got dual names.
Yeah.
Dual
They
relationship
dual
titles.
roles. Like, what? So I immediately thought back to certain situations. We had that, I'm not speaking about it loosely. I'm just saying, like, it really hit me. Like, oh, this is something that I think back in the day we were accustomed to. We talked about this like briefly in different topics where you could have a separate family on the other side of town.
Okay.
That was a thing.
Mm-hmm.
right?
Right.
The men would have a whole family, and there's a whole other family right across the way, across the tracks, let's just say, um, that's taking place. And now we hear this more and more because people are trying to bring it into the idea of polygamy, and I guess that's just saying, well, he gonna cheat on you anyway, right? He gonna have this family over there that you're not gonna know about anyway. So you might as well come together and y'all just be one happy family together.
Okay. One big
So
happy
yeah,
family.
that's yeah, unhappy family, dysfunctional, unhappy family. If I'm not okay with you having a family on the other side of the track, sir, I'm not gonna be okay with you bringing said family to my doorstep. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not okay. And what's the where are the boundaries, right? So you're a twin. Could you imagine? I just can't even imagine. I can't even say it.
I'm still trying to wrap around my head. So in this scenario, I'm a woman, right? So my brother has a wife, right? But I'm married too, right? And then apparently your brother and his girlfriend, or my brother and his wife separate, right? And now his wife he just divorced is now my husband's new boo, right? Am I understanding right? Did I got it?
Right, but you saying they separated, but who's to say they separated before they became booze?
Right,
You
right,
know,
right. No, I get
they
that
are
part.
making it
Yeah.
official now. Yeah,
Right. No.
yeah, but
Okay.
that's it.
Okay. All right. So
Yeah.
I got the scenario in my head now. Right. So we'll dive in a little bit. But I'm just make sure I get the meat and potatoes. I understand. So, but yeah, I mean, we're looking right into it. So, my first thought, like we just said right now, is when did this really start happening? This is not something that's
Mhm.
happened after they divorce. You know what I'm saying? People do talk to each other, but it's not instantly like that, right? I mean, it might be still be fresh, but it's not instantly. That means these two. I mean, I understand we're all one big family, right? So we all go out, we all hang out together, game night. You know what I'm saying? We do everything together because we're one big family. You understand what I'm
Mhm.
saying? I mean, right now I'm thinking about my my sister's brother and his wife. I'm just putting us in that scenario right now, right? Just thinking about it overall. Like, even though I'm not looking at her like that, I'm just thinking about that whole scenario. Like, we do everything. We go to the gun range, we play laser tag, we go on trips to Jamaica, out of the country, all these things, right? So of
Mhm.
course there's some type of level of trust between amongst each other, right? So I have her number, I have his number. Everybody have each other's number. You know what I'm saying? Because we're one big family. But at what
Mhm.
point did it separate to where we're not having group conversations, we're having one-on-one conversation, like you know what I'm saying? Like, you go to your friend,
Mhm.
you go to your brother's house and y'all stay the night and you may fall asleep downstairs, your wife in the other room. We were all a big family, right? People was walking around just in
Right.
PJs and shorts and stuff. I mean, wow. At what point did that line, you know what I'm saying? At what point did the line get crossed? And like I could imagine now it hitting the fan, and I'm sitting back thinking like that one time you was smiling so much, you was all on her face. Wow, you know what I'm
Oh
saying?
my God.
Everything will start going through your
Now everything
mind,
will start coming to everything will start making sense though, and
right?
that's the other unhidden part of this whole thing. You know, and I say again respectfully because this is someone's real life, but it happens in our society more than we speak about, and that's why it's a topic today. Because those red flags that we see and we force ourselves to ignore, men and women. I'm not saying that this is a woman thing or a
Right,
black woman thing. I'm saying this is across the freaking board. That we force ourselves to ignore these red flags
red flags.
when it comes to people we love because we don't want to be confrontational. We don't want to cause a ruckus. We don't want to, be looked at as insecure, right?
Right,
Girl, you tripping. What's wrong with you? Well, wait a minute. I see something. I'm just trying to quit,
or
and that's, go ahead.
right. No, or to add to you don't want to like the crazy one. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, why you don't want to be crazy. You don't want to be seen insecurity. You know what I'm saying? Insensitive, and you know what I'm saying. You have security. Issues. What's the word I want to say? Not insecurity, but it'll come back to me. But you don't want to be that person who seems too emotional or whatever. Like, what's wrong with you? Like, that's my cousin. That's your Stepsister, we good. Ain't nothing going on. We just hanging out.
Right. Right.
Wow. So I mean,
But this is the thing that we see happening, and we see it. But why don't we talk about this?
I mean, it does happen
That's
a
where
lot,
I got stuck.
but yeah, you definitely get stuck there. I mean, at what point? Oh man, that it kind of changed the whole game now, right? Because they're supposed
Hmm.
to be family, right? They're supposed to be family because both parties got kids and their kids are cousins and first cousins and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like we all family doing
Hmm.
trips together,
We all vacate together, Thanksgiving. We
right?
eating at the same table,
All
breaking
that,
bread together.
all
Hi,
that.
listeners. Just want to real quick say hello. This is the real deal versus how you feel. I know we're already engaged in the conversation, but today's topic is your brother's wife is now your ex-husband's new boo, right? Or vice versa. Your sister's husband is now your ex-wife's new boo. This is the issue. Like when the betrayal, the boundary, that line is crossed, what happens? And right now, Twinsinc and I are talking about it from the perspective of when did this start? Like, how did we get here, right? When did the switch happen where you stopped being my husband, my brother-in-law, or my sister-in-law,
Right,
or sister-in-love, or brother-in-love, to I'm in love, you in love? Oh
right.
man,
And
that's bad.
yeah, that's real bad, and that's gonna be a hard pill to swallow because once that happens, everything's gonna be pretty much a lie at this point now, right? Because
Mm.
you don't like they're gonna say, "Oh, it just happened." Nah, we done so many things together as a group family activity, and now things I looked at it and I played it off like, "Oh, the step brother, stepsister, in laws, whatever." Now I'm looking at it differently. Now I'm
Mhm.
like, "Wow, even right in my face, y'all was doing X, Y, Z right in my face." You know what I'm saying? When you went to like, think about it. Oh, I'll go to the store real quick and grab some food. Okay, I'll go with them too. Okay, cool. All right, y'all go get X, Y, Z. Y'all gone for about an hour or so. No one's thinking about where you at. We know y'all out there shopping. We text y'all, hey,
Mm.
while y'all out there, go and grab this, go and grab that, right? And now,
Mm.
you can get busy within 15 minutes. You don't need a full hour. You understand what I'm saying? So me personally, my mind be running like crazy. Like, oh hell to the nah. Y'all drove here and this. So how to prevent it? I don't think this is something that you can't.
Mm.
This is something that you can't prevent. It's really, I
But what
mean,
are those boundaries and what are the red flags? And that's really like if we can identify, just like you said, and this is not to put the fear of God in people's heart. Like you cannot allow or don't trust anyone. That's not what we're saying.
right.
But you do need to adhere to those moments of intuition that say something feels a little unhealthy or a little bit too much, and be comfortable and confident enough to speak on it and not be really concerned about how people are going to respond to what you have to say.
Mm.
And I think that part of self love people haven't really connected to. They're still dealing with the identity crisis to the extent that they can't just speak how they feel. They don't have that
Hmm.
freedom. And we're talking about husband and wives, sister and brothers. Like this is as close as you get in relation.
Right.
Outside of mother daughter, father daughter, mother, like that. Like what else is there? Friends? You know what I mean?
No.
So if you can't talk to your sibling about something you feel is uncomfortable with their significant other and yours, and you can't talk to your significant other, your wife, your husband, because twins say significant other and wife and husband is equivalent. I don't really agree, but we're gonna do it for the sake of this show. You can't talk to that person about their interactions with their sister or brother-in-law. What does that mean for you? What is where are you at?
Whew, right. Where's your mental
Where's
at?
your accountability?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Accountability has to be. Yeah, definitely accountability. Okay, I'll say this for me because I'm married. And it's funny you said that. Me and my wife we just talk, and she's okay with significant other. She don't care. She's good with that. But anyway, um, when it does come to her side of the family, and she has very beautiful family, cousins, nieces, aunts, sisters, all that. Very beautiful, right?
Mhm.
So with that being
Mhm.
said, honestly, the only people like numbers or who I communicate with on the family side, I only speak to the guys. And if I have to speak to a female family member, it would be her sisters, right? And if I do reach out to her sisters, it would be like, hey, her birthday's coming up. We're gonna link up here. Something short,
Mhm.
something right to the point. Ain't no, hey, how's your day? How's your day going? How you been? Good morning. None of that. None of that. I mean, when I first message you, I say, hey, good morning. How you doing? Great, great, great. Hey, I'm trying to reach out. I'm trying to set something up for your sister. We're trying to do a surprise. Can you make it? Right? That's it. Like out of 12 years currently, I have not had no other conversation besides that type of scenario with any of her cousins, her sisters, none of them. I may be Facebook friends with all of them, but the only people I speak to in the family is the guys. Now, not that I have any intention to do that, but to be honest, I mean, there's no reason for me to speak to any female, especially her family female on her side for anything. If I need something, I'll reach out to her directly. So that's how me personally I would handle it in a situation dealing with family members of the opposite sex. I only talk to the guys only.
That's interesting. But whatever boundary needs to be set, I feel like I respect that. Set the boundaries. That way, there's no way that you leave yourself open or susceptible to anything else transpiring.
Yeah,
And I think that that's important. My wife is beautiful. Her family is beautiful. That's respect. Beautiful people exist in this world
facts.
beyond the one you might choose to, spend the rest of your life with. And it requires a discipline that we talked about a little bit the other day, right?
Hmm.
It requires a discipline and it requires that self awareness. So I can respect the man that says, listen, the whole team is beautiful, the whole squad.
Right, the whole
I ain't got
squad.
time. You're not even about to have me hemmed up. You know what I mean? And it doesn't mean that I'm looking at anyone in any way. It means I won't ever look at anyone in any way because guess what? I ain't looking. Baby, you need to tell XYZ, all of them, get in touch with the family. We doing this. Other than that, when it's for my wife, I'll make sure I communicate short and sweet group chat messages. Everybody can see what's discussed and things like that. So there's no issue.
Hmm.
As long as it's not something that's done overly, like, oh my God, I can't because if I look, it'll be different. Like, dang, for real? Like, are you serious? But in the way that you said it, I could respect that. Like, look, it's a boundary there. And we have relations. So it's not like you are dismissing or rejecting relationship with the family because they're beautiful as to say like, oh, I can't be around those beautiful people.
Right.
I don't know what I might do.
Right.
Like that would mean you have no self control, right?
Facts.
So I think that the conversations we need to start having are just what are the healthy boundaries for family members? And this thing goes really deep, which we already know because it goes into molestation and incest and a lot of things that aren't being discussed in our families, in our culture, period. The culture itself says what goes on in my house stays in my house. That's what we're taught. So to a certain extent, great, let that be the case. But when are we going to say what the boundaries are, and when those boundaries are crossed, that these rules no longer are applicable, right? So you're not going to be in a situation where you're getting your head smashed in because you live under the premises of what goes on in my house stays in my house. Because now, when you're coming up, you understand the boundaries. That's only if you know certain situations come up, like y'all ran into a couple financial issues, right? You don't go run into your whole block like, yo, my mom lost her job. No. You know what I'm saying? That's not what you're going to do. But if
Right.
your mom lost her job and now she's choking you out, because she's stressed, or your mom lost her job, and now she's trying to prostitute you. She got men coming in the house and they touching on you. Then that's where the boundary is no more. You gotta say something. And I think that needs to be expressed. And I know for me personally, when I talk to my children, I tell them I don't care. There's no title in this world that trumps your safety. No title. So if that person tells you that if you tell your mom you're gonna get in trouble, or if you tell your mom it's gonna hurt, I don't care what anyone could possibly tell you. Anything out on those lines is a lie. So I told them that very early on. If anyone touch you, tell me. Period. Do you have those types of conversations with your kids? Like when it's like anybody touch you, anybody say anything to you, anybody tell you to do anything?
Oh yeah, I teach my kids. They can tell me anything. I tell them not to lie, tell the truth, regardless on how you think it's gonna feel or how I'm gonna feel. Just tell the truth, and you don't have to hide nothing from me. Like, yeah, I had those very similar conversations that you have as well. Yeah, but also to the topic, like the boundary things, I kind of treat
Mhm.
the being alone with any female relatives how I treat with like being around with little girls, like kids. Like
Right.
I don't. I could watch them, but I need all the kids, so it's not just me and her only. I need all the kids. Give me all the boys, all the girls. They can play together.
I'll take all the children.
Yeah,
Right.
I can supervise all of them,
I'll
but
supervise.
but I'll never I never want to be in a situation where it's just me and it's a little girl only. So that's how I treat them with the family member. I'll not be alone. Just not saying I can't control myself. Not saying anything will happen, but it's just people lie all the time. People, you'd be shocked how people be jealous of your marriage and your relationship, and it be your own family member, right? And people can make a lie up.
Mhm.
Just like right now, if it's, if let's say we're in the same, let's say we're both in Georgia, whatever, and we just out somewhere,
Mhm.
whatever, and you got mad at me, whatever, you can go and tell the police right now that I touched you, right? You know I didn't, but they'll still believe you and they'll come get me. So the
Yeah.
same thing when it comes to women in relationship. We could be alone and you can say I did something, I ain't do nothing to you, but they're gonna take your word for what it is. So I never want to put myself in that predicament with any type of woman, any type of lady, any type of lady of opposite sex. Never. I need groups of people around. I'm not talking to you one on one. We're not going this place one on one. No, no, no. All that. So yeah, you gotta keep the boundaries, just for your safety, and also just I for the person who's going through the situation, I really feel their pain, because I'm just thinking about being in her shoes and just thinking about all the times that I'm around my family member like that, my in-laws, and we doing X, Y, Z, and at one point did the in-law change to in love? You know what I'm saying? Like that part is blowing my mind right
Mhm.
now, just even thinking about it.
Right. When your sister in love because you love that person that you're with, that you
Right,
married. So you didn't love their family.
right,
So your sister in love and your brother in love, and now y'all,
in
you and them
love.
in love. That's
Yeah,
craziness.
yeah,
Because what is okay? Now we don't have to beat a dead horse, right?
right.
We don't. We get there, so there should be boundaries. But what are the triggers that you have to? I don't know. What type of person are you where you could even allow this? Some of that there's accountability that needs to
Well,
be taken.
when you say allow
Somebody got to
this,
tell the truth.
when you say allow this, what do you mean?
Like you're the person, right?
Uh huh.
Somebody had to make the first move. Is what I'm
Oh,
saying,
okay, yeah. I mean,
right? So
but you said this though. I mean, even if you're married or not, you're always gonna see beautiful people, right? You know what I'm saying? Just because you're married doesn't mean you're no longer attractive, right? Hello, still there? Oh, you probably got a call or something.
I was trying to unmute. It was a little
Yeah,
stuck, but yes,
yeah.
I'm here with
So right. So I mean, there's plenty of times I met a family member and they're like, he's very handsome. You know what I'm saying? Girl, you know what I'm saying? I heard these comments come from my wife's family side, from other women, right? From all ages. So if they see me as one way and I see them as one way, I'm like, wow. Like, me, I'm going to keep it real with y'all. So I have conversations with the fellas all the time, right? So I'm going to let y'all inside a little bit. Guys talk. And once we see the family member, we be like, damn, bruh. Her cousins is fine as hell, bro. I could pick one of y'all boys on, but the point is, I think she attractive too. I'm not going to engage or do anything, but I see she's beautiful. If she think I'm
right,
beautiful, that's cool too. But I'm not engaging, but I see that. You understand what I'm saying? So right there, it's by the attraction's there by default. Now, who it makes the first
right,
move, that's gonna be the tricky part, right? Not to have done
right,
this, I'm just saying. Here's the tricky part: if I make the move, right, and it's not received, just know that the marriage can be done at that point. Like, I'm in trouble now, right? Because one, she can tell the wife right away, and then that's a problem. Or two, she could blackmail me, right? Like, so many things that happen go on at this point now. Or three, she can accept it, right? Like, oh, I think you're cute too. And then boom, then we have trouble. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I mean? It's a high risk. It's a very high risk.
So is it a jealousy that's on both their parts? Like what type of mindset
Oh,
is that? Like where your sister or your brother would stoop that low and betray you to the point? Did y'all always have issues? Like, were you compared to each other growing up? And, they always felt like you thought you were better than them. Like let's talk about the real structure, the dynamics of this thing, right?
yeah, yeah.
Because what other way would you allow yourself to take part in this?
Yeah, that's true. I'm gonna go with the whole jealousy part, right? Even though because think about it, a lot of people are not blood brothers and brother sisters. Everybody got step brothers and step sisters. Not everyone, but most people, right? Not everyone. I'm a twin, but I'm just saying. I know people who have step brothers and step sisters, or even if they are blood, right? See, the problem is when they're being raised, sometimes there's favoritism. Favoritism can be a very bad thing. Parents, treat your kids the same across the board. If you have a boy, treat him the same. If you have a girl, treat him the same. I mean, of course, different levels because you're raising a boy and a girl, but still, you wouldn't treat the kids the same across the board because if you have favoritism, if you treat one different than the other, them two are gonna have their own little beef, and that's crazy.
Right.
And
you are the initiator of that.
Right.
Because honestly, without that, they would just believe they're equal.
Mm-hmm.
They wouldn't have that thing. That's really an adult inflicted thing on children, and
Yeah.
I don't understand it.
Yeah.
But I was having a conversation with my sisters earlier today about a situation that had happened some time ago, and I'm like, that really stems from a seed that was planted years and years and years ago when somebody told you, oh, you should act more like this one. Or when somebody told you, well, why don't you do this? Such and such did this. Even if they don't do a direct comparison, they still compare you in a way. Like, oh yeah, you should try this. Such and such did this, and they allow it from other adults around as well. Oh, you so beautiful. Look at you with your little light skin self, and your hair so soft. How your hair get so soft? And then, all of these little things, and then you get to the next one. Oh, you must have your auntie here, or you must have your mama here. It's no compliment. It goes to something else, and then you're like, well, dang, and there's no communication to say that person is ignorant. Nobody's saying that. No one's talking about the adults. No one's calling them ignorant, even though they're acting ignorantly. No one's saying they're wrong. No one's addressing the fact that you feel how you feel, justifiably, right? You are justified in these feelings because they're inflicted on you. But no one's having that conversation with you. So now you still trying to have a relationship with someone that you conflicted with now because you just genuinely love them. This your sibling. This your first best friend, let's just say.
Right.
If y'all just come up together, y'all grew up together. And now you're looking at them because guess what? They're accepting the compliment. They're accepting this extra little attention that they're getting from the adult at the same time. So now you feel like, oh, you're not standing up for me. Mind you, they're a kid too, though, right? So these are all little, seeds that are planted and they just festering, and now y'all become teenagers or preteens, and it's like, oh, you think because of that. Now you hear yourself saying what you heard way back when. You bringing it back up as if this person may have said this to you or not, and that's the part that I feel is very detrimental to our family structures and our culture. And this is how your husband, your brother's husband, could be your wife's new boo. That's how that could happen. So we got a message. So can you go ahead and press play?
Yep, sure can.
My hands are a little wet.
Hey guys, how are you doing? Greetings from Germany.
Hey, that's our guy, right?
Yes, it is.
Greetings.
Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate you.
from Germany. That's dope. I really appreciate the comment. I need to
International.
make my way to, yeah, internationally known on the microphone.
But yes, I
Whose
mean,
bar is that?
but yes, the root cause does start at home at a young age. And once one person is always being compared to the other person, that causes jealousy amongst kids, brothers and sisters, or brothers and brothers, sisters and sisters. So when they get
Right.
older, they had this animosity. How come you didn't go to school? How come you
Mhm.
can't be like your brother? How come you can't be like your sister? They doing X, Y, Z. You always got to hear about them instead of you talk directly to them, right? You got to compare to someone else.
Right.
People don't like being compared. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, I understand.
Right.
I mean, there's always rankings. There's always this, but at the end of the day, you want to always hear about. Want you to be like this person? Everybody want to be their own individual at one point. They want to be. They want to be
Mhm.
themselves. So yeah, that's what. So the answer to the previous question, yes. So I'm gonna speak from the woman's point of view. So I'm trying to think. Have I ever talked to sisters before? I don't think so. I don't think I have dated sisters. But I heard stories though. But I heard stories.
Oh man,
I know
have I
plenty of
heard
stories.
stories too about guys that try to date sisters?
Yeah. No, not intentionally. That's not. I mean, that's nothing I never done. I never done it. No, I haven't. No, never. But anyway.
Look at you. You really trying to figure it
Yeah,
out.
I'm trying to remember. Like, have I ever dated two sisters? Not at the same time,
Oh
but
my
different times.
goodness.
No, I
Is that
haven't.
part of the problem?
No, I'm not part of the problem. But no, but I mean,
Yeah.
honestly though, because friends. So friends, yes, I have dated friends, but not sisters. But see, what happened was because the girls they know each other, right? And once
Mhm.
again, I mean, they're not brother and sister, but they know each other, but they still become jealous of each other, right? They claim that they're best friends, whatever. But because they're friends, they know each other's dirt, right? So when they're dating it,
Mhm.
so let's say I'm talking to one of the friends, and I'm treating the girl really good, X, Y, Z, whatever. And the other girl, she can't get a man, but she sees how I'm being treated, right? And her girl's dogging me out. You know what I'm saying? She got other dudes, X, Y, Z, but she ain't saying nothing, right? She's sitting back watching and from a view. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And then sometimes, when I can't get in contact with the one, my girlfriend at that time, I reach out to her best friend because they usually right next to. Matter of fact, okay, I didn't date sisters, but I did date cousins. There we go. Oh, yeah, it came back to me. I know I had something similar. So, all right, here we go. This is how it
Mhm.
went. So, cousins, right? So I was on the phone and called the one girl that I like, right? I ain't gonna say her name, but we used to talk all the time on the phone. Well, I used to call all the time, or she'll call me, but we've been on the phone for 2 minutes, right? And then she'll hand her phone over to her cousin, right? So I'm just talking, being
Mhm.
cool, whatever. But me and her cousin would start getting really, really cool.
You're building a relationship.
We're building a
Right.
relationship because every time I talk to the girl I'm trying to holler at, she's too busy just, oh, okay, blah, blah, blah. And then give me the phone to her cousin. And then we go to the pool. You know what I'm saying? She ain't there, but her best friend
Mhm.
there. So me and her kick it, right? And the cousin, she knew that the girlfriend I was talking to at the time, Frank, she was playing me, right? She was, she out to mess with this dude doing X, Y, Z. She really don't really like you, but she wouldn't claim the title of boyfriend or girlfriend with you because, you know what I'm saying, because you kind of popular, right? Kind of like that, whatever.
Mhm.
So anyway, long story short, me and the cousin became real close, and we still good friends, and me and her kind of hit off. But the story I'm trying to make her is that, not say she was jealous of her. Maybe she was jealous. Maybe because I didn't talk to her first. I'll say that maybe, right? Or maybe she seen that she had a good man, but the girlfriend wasn't treating the dude right. And she's like, man, if I had a dude like you, I wouldn't do X, Y, Z. You understand what I'm saying? So maybe that's how that
Right.
can work
Right.
sometimes in a relationship when girls can see how
That comparison.
that comparison.
It goes right back to that because
Mm-hmm.
then that caresses that initial thing that you had coming up. That's
Right.
the only thing that I could see because that insecurity is there. It stems from there. Otherwise, how could you even allow yourself to betray the one that you're related to
Facts.
in that way?
Yes. Yeah.
You know,
There gotta be
and
some
then
beef there.
and how
Mm-hmm.
could you allow yourself to betray the one you are married to in that way?
Yeah.
These are substantial relationships. These aren't like, hey, you my play cousin. This is like, oh, you my for real brother, my sister.
Mm-hmm.
That to me, that stems from somewhere so deep, and we ignore it, and we just act like it doesn't exist, and nobody wants to talk about it. We want to sugarcoat it. We want to hide it under the rug, or we just want to avoid it altogether. You know, you stirring up the pot. Nobody wants you to stir up the pot. Wait a minute. And I guess for me, it hit me as hard as it did because I'm a mom now,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Right.
And like I said, when you lose family members, you start hearing things, you start finding out things, and you'll be real jacked up if you don't, address it. Or if you're not like, well, me personally, I'm going to address it. I don't have time. I don't care who cares about what I got to say and none of that. I'm not going to be disrespectful,
Uh-huh.
even though the old folks feel like you disrespectful when you say something. Saying something is disrespect to them. But, I can't do nothing about that because respect is a word with a meaning. And me opening my mouth is not disrespect. What I say when I open my mouth could be disrespectful. But me having something to say in itself is not disrespectful. Once I understood that, I was like, oh, I'm not being disrespectful. I just have a voice. I'm a person. I have something to say. And I promise you, I won't address you in a disrespectful way when I say it, even if you are the predator. But what we're going to identify is that you are a predator, and that's the thing. Oh, but no, you can't say that. You can't talk about her, even though she running through all of the husbands. If you don't go sit your behind down, but then they're right. But at the same time, it'll be like, okay, in secret, it'll be like, make sure you watch her or keep him or her away from the kids or away from this. Why we whispering? If the children are at risk, why are we whispering? If your wife is, that saying, hide your wife, hide your kids.
Hide your kids, yeah.
No, man, that's crazy. I'm not. Why are we whispering? Sit that person down and get them the help they need because they're not adhering to boundaries. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, yeah, I feel like these are things that definitely stem. We always talk about family and education, and it's really from the structure of the family. You were told what goes on in my house stays in my house, and then in some ways or another, you were kind of compared to a sibling or a cousin who did well, but you never heard the other end of that, right? Oh, why don't you be like such and such? Well, if you complimented me as much as you complimented such and such, maybe I would be.
Mm-hmm. Ms. I Speak Life, let me ask you. Go ahead. Finish your thought.
No. That's really it. Like, if you gave me what you given them, maybe I would be more like them.
Okay. So the question I have for you is, how would you conduct yourself, when you married, right, and you have brothers-in-laws and cousins-in-laws, all them in-laws, right? You see, family, brother-in-law,
Mm-hmm.
family, all that. How would you conduct yourself when dealing with the men?
I just don't even see nobody like that. There's no attraction there. So
well, regardless how you see them, though, but this period, how you conduct yourself.
The interaction, my interaction is cordial. I mean, I'm not trying to be in your private quarters because I don't see you that way. But that's just with anybody, period. If me and you are not in an intimate relationship, we don't talk on private quarters terms, right? So if I was, say for instance, right, you're my brother, right?
Okay.
No. Say for instance, your wife is my sister and you're the husband. My interaction with you would be that of which, regardless if she walks in the room at any given moment, if she's on the phone, she could participate at any given moment. That's the best way I could describe it.
Gotcha.
She has full access to our interactions at all times. There's nothing we can, with the exception of we are discussing some type of surprise for her, right?
Right.
So if me and you are planning a surprise for your wife, then, yeah, now you're just telling me little things you need me to do to investigate what she might want, right? If me and her sisters, you just looking for insight.
Right.
What she might want. Did she mention anything to you in particular? Has she said anything about, wanting to travel maybe? You're just trying to get insight because your wife hasn't really brought up anything to you, right? She's looking for you to pay attention, and men don't always pay attention, but women talk to women.
Facts.
Is the idea, right? So
right.
You're like, okay, well, I know y'all talk all the time. So what's she saying? And that's it. Oh, she said that, she probably want to just chill or whatever the case is. Once you have that information, you're not hitting my jack no more. You're not contacting me no more.
That's true.
And if you do contact me, the type of connection or communication that we had, my sister, your wife, could be included at any moment. She walk in the door, it don't matter what we talking about, it ain't gonna ever be inappropriate. And that's just how I will conduct myself. I don't have inappropriate dialogue. I don't have inappropriate interactions. You're not hugging me long time. None of that.
Listen, I give everyone the side hug. Like, hey, cuz.
Yeah. None of that is happening. You're not hugging me long time. You're not kissing me close to my lip. The crack of my lip better not be touched by your lip while I'm punching in the nose.
Right. Listen, I text my wife's best friend, I think like maybe a few times. And the few times I text her was like, hey, what is her favorite type of cake that she liked for her birthday from Public? And she remembers every time.
Right.
I don't know why I haven't written it down, but I should have written it out by now. But, or I ask her, hey, do you know what's something she been, wanting to have? You know what I'm saying? And, that's her best friend.
And that's key, too. Like, maybe you should go ahead and write it down because then, let's just say the friend goes through something, right? And although you've never given her any signs.
True.
And this is just me speaking hypothetically. You've never given her any signs that you were interested or anything like that. But you always call about this one thing, something that you could have been written down.
Right.
You don't really need her for, but you do come to her for.
Right.
And now she going through something emotionally or she going through something with a man. And she going to be like, oh, he always call me for this. He must, you know what I mean? So I don't leave no windows like that open. That's what I'm saying.
That's dope.
Look,
That's dope.
Mm-hmm. Ain't no needing you again. That's it. Thank you.
That's
you
that's real fact
because
right there.
Then you don't know the other person. You don't know that where they are.
And that's what I'm saying. And
depending. Go ahead.
And you kind of answered the question that we kind of allude to last conversation is that you know what I'm saying women can receive 100 compliments all the time and mean nothing, right? But if a man get a compliment from a woman, he may act on it, whatever. And I just want to say the same thing you just echoed. You never know what that man may be going through at that time frame. Just like I may not know what her best friend may be going through if I call her and ask her, hey, what's her type of favorite cake and what does she want? And you know what I'm saying? Oh, well, she told me this, but hey, let me, you know what I mean? I'm going to call you back and we're having I'm thinking the conversation will be a 5-minute conversation, turn to be an hour. Like, hold up, what we doing here? Like, how we get to a 5-minute to a whole hour now? Because at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, you never know what someone is going through. And you know what I'm saying? It's always
how they were raised.
You don't know what they're going through. You don't know how they're raised. And all that things can matter. I mean, you could trust people for so much, right? So yeah.
But I think the bottom line is to, know you, right? If you know you, then what they do will be easily identified, right? So let's flip it. Here I am. I'm the sister to the wife, right? Okay. And now you calling me, and this is the second time you called me for the same information. Well, I don't have to wait for you to call me again. I'm going to say, bro, why don't you write this down? So you don't got to call me no more.
Accountability.
You know what I'm saying? I'm going to let you know this don't even make sense. You shouldn't be calling me for this again.
Right. No, that's true.
Right, so I'm going to tell you this time.
Yeah.
But now I need you to go ahead and do what you need to do. If you really care about my sister, then you're going to take a note of this. You're going to make this going to be stapled and stamped in your head. You're not going to have to keep calling me for this. And even if you don't remember it in your head, then you're going to write it down. You're going to make a mental note to put it in your notes. It's going to be on your calendar. Things like that. And
ladies and gentlemen out there, and in this technology that we have, you have a smartphone. If you go to your calendar and put in your significant other's birthday, which you should already know, but if you put it in the calendar, right, guess what? You can also add notes. And you can have it repeat yearly. So automatically pops up. Mm-hmm. And you can put a reminder in too. So you can like a 3-day notice if you need time. So at this point now, there's really no excuse that you should be reaching out to your wife or your husband's best friend about information about your significant other when it comes to something like that. Not saying I still do that, but I'm using it for a scenario. But it definitely makes sense, and there's no
But even
excuse
if
now.
you did, but now you're aware, like, wait, this could lead to something else. Even if it hasn't in 12 years, 13 years, it's cool. It's not to say that,
Right.
the accountability could just be clear on both ends.
Right.
But we're speaking generally because we know everybody is not built the same way. Like, okay, how I feel, everybody may not feel. So here's one way for sure that could resolve or at least prevent this. This is a boundary.
Facts.
Stop the need for the communication. I never understood. Like, the only time you need to respond or reach out to my family is if they have something they're doing that you need. Most times you're gonna reach out through me anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, let's just say for instance, like, oh, well, such and such does car detailing. Okay, like, okay, my sister, say for instance, I'm married. My sister's husband does car detailing.
Uh-huh.
I want my car detailed. Before I contact her husband directly, I'm contacting my sister. So you're aware that there's about to be a line of communication between me and your husband regarding business.
Right. Like, hey, I'm about to reach out about
No, I don't
XYZ.
necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's it. You don't necessarily got to be, take time out of your, we are grown. We are adults and the boundaries are there. So I can't have a conversation about, business or something like that. But you are, you aware. And I just had that happen just now. My sister's fiance. I said, I'm going to hit him up one more time to ask about such and such and such. She said, okay, me too. Meaning, you go ahead, you ask him because we're going to hit him with a double whammy. You ask him, like, you know how the cousins used to do?
Right.
Go ask your mother if you could spend the night. That same type of energy. But that's because me and my sister, we're friends, right? So she want what I want. We want the same thing. We want him to do this one thing for me because she want me to have it done as well. If he coming to clean out the garage, she want to know, okay, yeah, go ahead, ask him, and then I'll ask him too. So it's safe. There's no side conversation. It's not, any of that. When even with, and I can actually speak on this because I didn't even realize. So when her fiance does come to the house, like he's coming to pick something up, my sister's not with him. You know what I mean? She calls me, she texts me, he calls, he texts. The kids are aware. Everybody knows what's going on. And that's how you keep accountability. That's how you keep the boundaries. In addition to the fact that I could not be attracted to anybody that my siblings,
That part
just,
too.
to me,
Hey, listen, that part too right there.
That's just disgusting.
Hey, listen.
I don't know about that.
And it's funny when people ask me about me. I'm a twin, ladies and gentlemen. If you didn't know, my name's Twinsinc, but I'm actually a twin. We're a minute apart. But people used to ask me if me and my brother share girlfriends or anything like that. I'm like, no. We have totally different tastes. The girls he talked to, I wouldn't even touch with. Okay, respectfully, I wouldn't touch them with a pool stick. Not saying there's nothing wrong with them. It's just not my type, right? Not my type. So that's why. And then the woman,
10-inch pole, a 10-foot pole,
right? And the woman that I talked to, my brother like, okay, she's cute, she got a fat butt, all that, but she's too skinny for me. You know what I'm saying? My brother like big girls, not big girls, but he a big dude, so he like a little cushion to the pushing. Me, I'm like,
yeah, I have y'all preference.
Right, we got our preference, so respectfully. So never in the whole 12 years, the whole 39 years that me and brother have been on this earth together, and we've seen each other's girlfriends and wives over the decades and years. I could honestly say right now, I was never attracted to any of his girls that he talked to. Respectfully, though. Okay? I gotta say respectfully, they might be listening to something. Respectfully, okay? It's nothing wrong with you, just not my type, boo. That's why you talk to him, you ain't talk to me.
Your brother gonna be like, oh, for real, sir? Or what you trying to say?
No. He gonna say the same thing.
Them, huh? I don't be pulling them.
He pull them, but it's just not the ones I would pull. He pull, but it's not the ones I would pull. Like, hey, okay, you pull that one, all right, I'll go with the other one. Bet. Like I said, ain't nothing wrong with them, but I'm saying is that, so that's for me personally. So I have a preference. So once again, yeah. So me and my brother would never have that situation ever, never, because we have our own cup of teas that we like, respectfully.
Right. But then just not that. Just the whole idea of the body fluids. I just don't want to know my siblings on that level.
That
right?
too.
I don't want to know them on that level. If you share all of that with them, that's kind of like, I don't know. To me, that's sharing. No, 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 no,
And also too, I mean,
no. Mm-mm.
we my brother, we both have a huge, definitely a respect for each other, right? You know what I'm saying? We might have situations
Mm-hmm.
where someone might have felt a certain type of way, that they felt that was just treated a certain different way, whatever. But we had conversations, and you know what I'm saying, the love is there. Like, listen, bro, you know, XYZ is out of my control, but you know, I didn't benefit off that or whatever, blah 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 blah. But we have a love and respect for each other. Not because we're brothers, not because we're twins, because we're two grown men. We had a sit down conversation. We talked about it. But in the day, you know, it's all respect levels. There's some things you're not gonna do, something I'm not gonna do. So that's another part, Terry. You have to know your family too. If everybody got that family member that messes with everybody, you know what I'm saying? Some people know their family kind of foul. So those family people you gotta stay away from, or don't bring your significant other around
Right.
them. Hide your husband. Hide your kids. Yeah, there's people like that. I don't bring my kids
Hide the
around at
wives,
all.
hide the kids.
Yeah. Shit, I got family members that I don't
Mm-hmm.
bring my kids around because I know their history. So no, you would never see my kids. If you do see them, it will be on social media. That's it. And when they get 18 years old and they're adults, they want they want to have a relation with you. Okay, you can at that point, but they grown. But
Right.
that's a whole nother
And
topic.
it's gonna be one that is. It's gonna be in a relationship that is respectable.
Right.
It's not gonna be anything. And I've actually had family members where, like, the cousins, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, no, not even cousins, uncle and nephew. Here you are, you my uncle, and now your wife is your ex-wife, and now me and your ex-wife is a couple. What that do to the whole family function? Like, y'all selfish. You know, so much that goes into that. You're not thinking about the kids. You're not thinking about the family structure. What we supposed to do on Thanksgiving?
Facts.
How we supposed to accept this? Now we got to think about, can we even accept you and this person? That should not even be, to me. That's just selfish. You know what I mean? That's just my take on it. You really you're not being responsible at that point. You're not being respectable at that point, and you're being ultimately selfish. Not even in a point where you really self-loving, because so many different parts of your self-love have to be put on the back burner for you to even accept that type of relationship. So you can't really say you operating from a place of self-love, because you wouldn't allow yourself to go there with that person. So now you're just being selfish and not caring about nobody else. You just wanting what you want.
Yeah, it's definitely selfish there, and like you said, when you think about the outcome of the family, that's gonna be the most trauma there when it comes to the kids. You know what I'm saying? The young people that's being raised up in this now toxic relationship, because now they can't even visit husband, brother. They can't even visit they can't even visit their moms or their dads now because the new boyfriend. It gets complicated, right? Because you know at that point now, the original people, right? Their trust has been broken with their own family,
people.
right? The original couples, right? The original couples now, they have now lost trust in their own family, even though the person showed their hand. But now, who you gonna trust now? I can't trust nobody. So no, I'm as far as family functions, out. Me and my kids won't be at none of them because of that one scenario. So now my kids might grow up not knowing their cousins, their first cousins, second cousin, third cousins, you know, all that stuff, because my brother's wife is now my husband's new boo. You know what I mean? Like, or opposite, fellas, opposite. And I'm not me husband, or my sister's wife, my sister's husband is my, you know what I'm saying? Flip it around, okay?
Yeah, wife's new boo.
You're right.
Right.
It's a whole dynamic. It's now
your sister's husband is your wife's ex-wife's new boo. That would be crazy.
Exactly. So
but like you said, it breaks down the family, because now you don't want your children around their children. Because what happens if they start making babies?
Oh my goodness! Because now, like you said, they're now cousin brothers or first cousin, like. So the first couple, right? The original marriage couple, that they had kids, right? Boom. Now they're having kids with so now they're siblings instead of being a brother. Yeah, to be a brother, but now we're you're my brother, but you're also my cousin now. Like, it's crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah.
And you're not just like my brother. You my brother and my first cousin.
Right.
This ain't distant cousins. This ain't twice removed.
Mm-mm.
This is like right here in my face. Your mama is my aunt. And my daddy is your uncle and your father.
Right.
What?
Hey, uncle, dad. Man.
Something, you know. And then the sad part about it is in the culture, then there's no communication. It's not talked about. So now you got these situations where we coming up and all of this nonsense is happening, but we can't even talk about it.
Right.
We can't even talk about it.
You know what? And I think that's another topic you have coming up, right? Something about that. Yeah.
Talking about the family
secrets.
Family something about the family. Yeah, family secrets. Just say y'all lying, because that's all. And then here's the third part. The third point that I want to talk about this before we kind of, close it up. I know we have listeners, and to the listeners, I appreciate you guys coming to The Real Deal versus How You Feel with Miss I Speak Life and Twinsinc. And yes, we are talking about your husband's new boo is your brother's ex-wife. I think I worded it a little differently, but it means the same thing. So just saying that the people you were in a relationship with, the people that are closest to you, your sibling and your husband or wife are now together in a relationship. So we're talking about the dysfunction of it, the selfishness of it, the beginning of it. We talked about how did it start, what happened, what boundaries were missed, it's just not respected, and all of those things. And now we're talking about it, but who knew, right? Because now how could this have gone on? Everybody's so close and nobody else don't know. So now you checking everything.
Hey, somebody knew.
Now you questioning everybody. Nah, somebody knew. Somebody saw this. Somebody, including your own self. Because remember, we talked about the red flags already.
Right.
So you ignored your own red flags, but you want to be mad at cousin such and such because they knew. But you ignored your red flags, so why shouldn't they ignore what they saw? So now you want to hold everybody else accountable. But let's talk about those people that do know and then don't say nothing or just act like it don't matter. And they still, they still close. They still hang out. That's crazy.
And that's why I said that's where that trust goes.
You are feeling betrayed and, lied to and isolated. Oh, my gosh. I can't even imagine all the feelings a person would feel.
Yeah, the whole family and everybody needs counseling.
Going through all of this stuff.
Everybody needs counseling.
So, yeah, everybody needs counseling. Everybody. And nobody's counseled. Nobody's talked to. Nobody's explained anything to. It goes under the rug. The kids don't get counseling. They don't get nothing. They grow up being bitter and upset with one another. Now they can't be, friends. The cousins can't be friends. Ain't nobody coming over. They don't hang with that. Oh, we don't talk to aunt such and such no more.
But also,
wait a minute.
But also, to answer your question though.
Issue.
But also to answer your question though, someone knows. Like before it hits the fan, a family member knows because someone had to talk to somebody to let them know. Like I'm talking to such and such. I don't know his big mama. Somebody know, and someone said, if you love him, he loves you. Go for it. Like someone gave him that dumbass spill. I mean, it's not dumb. I get love is love.
Gave him
but at the end of the day, like, come on now, that's family right there. Right.
Because love won't cause you to cause, love is not going to cause you to cause confusion. Confusion, these things that transpire from this type of a situation don't equate to love. You're not going to have heartache and you're not going to have dysfunction and disloyalty and betrayal and call it love. It don't equate the same.
And
right. Because love would have had you put your pride, your feelings aside for the sake of the love you have for your relative, your sibling, or your brother or sister in love. You would sacrifice that. That's what love do.
Right. So I would assume with this scenario that's happening that this is fresh. This is not like they've been divorced for like 5 or 6 years. This sound like this.
No, they were in divorce court.
So
they were in court.
Right.
Zoom
so that's what I'm saying. So
the other day.
Right. So the point I'm trying to make is that the only time, not saying that it was right, but the only time this can make some sense is that the divorce was settled and divorce was done that had nothing to do between the two people getting together, right? Divorce was between the wife and the husband, XYZ, whatever, but the person was never involved. And this is like 5 years later on, and eventually, your new, whatever, they got together, right? But like you said, this is happening right now. These two are not even finished with their own divorce, and they're in court, and it all hit the fan at the same time.
And you logged in as the other person name. Y'all together already.
Right.
To me, it's never gonna make sense because at that point, you my brother. To me, it equates to incest immediately. If you marry, you become one. Again, I couldn't do it. My mental couldn't do it. Just thinking about body functions and fluids, I could not. Ew, never. Nope. I don't care how long ago it was. It could have been a decade, 5,000 decades. It don't matter. You're my family, and that's that. So that's how I personally look at it. But to your point, yes, it's still fresh. You guys are in this thing and you're not even fully closed the other thing out.
Right.
You're not even through the divorce.
Not even through it.
You know what I'm saying? And you don't care about the children. You don't care about, you just don't care. That's some crazy mess, man.
Family, everything.
And it's happening. And we all could say that it's we know somebody, that.
Hey, hold on. Also,
no situations.
but
like
listen, let's talk about the embarrassment though. On top of that, like it's not just the embarrassment inside the family. What about everyone else looking in, the outside looking in, all the friends? Because everybody's friends with each other. Because once again, these are brothers, wife, and husbands. Everybody's friends. Everyone is connected to each other, especially in this day and age with social media, Facebook, whatever. Everybody's connected to each other. Everybody know each other. All of a sudden now, people who didn't know will see pictures of you two together. Like, hold up, why is Miss I Speak Live out there hanging?
I thought that was.
Ain't that such and such? Ain't that her brother's girlfriend? What? And then you DM this, and then now what? That's what happened. And you got
now you got to try to explain this over and over and over again. You got
it's just too much going on. Like how this
now
happened.
You got to pick and choose. Now the friends got to pick and choose.
That, right, and divide it.
Want to be on, who they want to believe, or what happened, what didn't happen, who caused it, who didn't cause it. No. It could all have been prevented by love. If you would have loved the person enough, you wouldn't even. Whoever initiated it. Look, I'm all hot over here, right? Whoever initiated it, it could have been stopped right at that point. Now, even if the relationship would have ended, let's just say the initiator's marriage would have ended, that would have just been grounds for it to end. Period. That does not give you a free pass that now that you are divorced, for me and you to start or spark something. Divorce is not a pass to me. A pass. Like, you still had a whole life with that person. They're part of your life journey. You know what I mean? When we talk about
forever.
this, and I just touch on it real lightly. Those people that have spent years with a person and then delete them completely from their social media pages? I don't believe in that silly stuff. Like, if you can't meet me and understand that I spent 7-8 years with a person and they were there. They may not be in my right now, but they were there in my before.
Hey, listen.
What difference does it make? They were there before.
Hey,
what the heck?
Hey, I'm kind of with you on that because I got pictures on my Facebook. If you look deep enough, you'll see pictures of my ex-girlfriends because I'm not deleting that shit. It was there before I got you. If you got a problem,
and
if you got
there too.
Right. So if you got a problem with my history, then we might stop right here and don't have a future because I'm not deleting stuff or erasing stuff because it's just there. That's what it was. But who I'm married to now? You. Okay. So
now, if it was nothing, you know what I'm saying? If it was, something else, then like if it's a whole bunch, I don't expect you to, sit there and just keep posting. Like, ain't no flashback Friday.
Right. Throwback Thursday. You got a picture of you and your ex.
Thursday.
Right. No, don't do that now.
But if a person got time to go all the way back down to 2010 and 2002, then have at it, okay? Because I'm not doing all that.
I'm not doing that neither, yeah.
But if that joke will pop up in 2020, 2021, talking about my friend, no. Now we got a problem.
Facts.
Because what was is no more. And why would they even be showing up?
Right.
Ain't nobody got time.
No, I agree. I agree with that. So
I would end a relationship. I've ended relationships. We're not doing that.
So right. So I agree with what you're saying though. So like when you said if someone does get divorced, you might delete them off your social media, but y'all still attached to each other. And I always tell people this at one point, right? Regardless of any divorce that did happen, right? Regardless how they ended, right? We're gonna scratch that part. At one part in that relationship, they loved each other. They loved each other so
So
much that
they
they even
eat
got
like each
married
other.
and they had a family. So
Mm-hmm.
the chemistry is still there, regardless how they ended. Right? It ended bad. Okay, whatever. But prior to that bad, it was good. So so
Right.
so it cause
Right.
and if you've been married or been long term relationship, you know what someone likes, they dislikes, what turns them on, what turns them off. You know what to say to them, regardless, because that history you have with them. So miss me with that. Oh, that's
Mm-hmm.
my old friend. Stop it. But I'm gonna stop there. I'll put a
Nope.
period
You
there.
better keep them old, because the moment they go from old to present is the moment you go from present to old. Okay. I'm out of here.
Bars.
Go where you want to be. Go what you want. Go do what you want with who you want. I'm not here for the game. So that's just my take on it, And I feel like when it's initially done is when it should be addressed. That's when you need to handle it. Don't sit there. If you sit there and you accept the past from someone that is married to your sibling, something's wrong with you. You need some other type of attention, or you are something you're not getting something you need, and you're not to me you're a violation.
Yeah,
I don't know. That's the only way I can say it.
and
You're a
also
violation. And me personally, I have 8 siblings. 8. I love every one of my siblings equally. Ain't no way in the world. What goes for one goes for all. Ain't no way I'm looking at none of their siblings. I mean, none of their significant others. I don't care if the men decided to like men. I'm not looking at that man.
gotcha.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And all of my siblings are handsome and beautiful. Just like you were saying, the whole squad, we all got it. Thank God for Jesus. Not boasting or being conceited, but I'm saying beauty is there. But there's a world full of beautiful people. What does that mean? You have no self control if you can't be around a person that's beautiful.
and
So
right. So
yeah,
also,
no.
I'll just add to it as well, ladies and gentlemen. If you're in these long term relationship, marriage or not, if you see something, say something. That applies from kids to even adults. If you see something,
Wait, say that part again, twin.
I said, if you see something, say something. It even
Oh
applies
yeah.
for adults. I know that's a kid saying, as far as kids, you see something, you say something. It applies for adults too. If you're in a long-term relationship or even marriage, whatever, and you see your significant other or your boyfriend, girlfriend, spouse, whatever you want to name them, if you see them have an interaction with someone and they too smiley, too flirty, not saying check that, but address it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
No,
hey,
you right. Check that.
no, because it's a way, because it's a way you can address it. I mean, check seems like come over and slap people around like, what you not gonna do? Pull them by the shirt. No, address the issue. Like, hey,
Oh,
I saw
oh,
XYZ. You was over there. Not sure what y'all talking about. Don't
too
care about
long.
it, but I trust you enough. But I'm telling to let you know how it made me feel. I didn't like
It
how
don't look right.
it didn't look right for me. From my point of view.
Mhm.
Not saying there's a problem there, because now
Mhm.
you're not accusing them of nothing. You just putting it out there, but you letting them how you feel. And if that person loves you like they say they love you, they gonna care about how that made them feel. And the next time going forward, they should address themselves how they interact with certain people. If that makes sense.
Right, and not only that, it fits the accountability right when they left. Because guess what?
Oh yeah,
Now they see
definitely.
that other people see them.
Like
Now we see you, so you ain't slick with it.
right.
You know what I mean? We can see you.
Yeah, I see you.
So
I see it. So let's make sure, and also tap.
mhm.
Also make sure you tap that cousin or sister-in-law, whoever, and let them know too. Now them you can
Mhm.
check because they family. Hey, all that little conversation you had over my husband, my girlfriend, my wife over there, did that. That's too much going on out there. Oh man, I ain't say nah, bro. I know how you work. Trust me, we ran the street together. I know how you work. What we not gonna do? You know what I'm saying? I can do that with your family that because you know how they are. Like, we ain't playing games over there. Did that conversation right there. But you can have a softer conversation with your significant other. But your family, you can check them with no problem. So, yeah.
Right, absolutely. So I mean, again, we don't have to beat a dead horse, but
Oh no,
I
we done.
definitely
Yeah.
think that this topic is what I say on the Instagram juicy. I was serious.
Not
I feel
clickbait,
like
people.
this
This
is
is not clickbait.
juicy.
This is real.
This is not clickbait. This is juicy because this is something and that we all, in some sense, and when I say all, I'm speaking generally culture based, like, in the urban communities, we deal with a lot of these things in similar ways, and most times it's not to deal with them head on. It's not to acknowledge or attack them or address them.
Mm-hmm.
And I like the fact that you cleared up address versus check, right? Because we do come from a place where you checking me. Ain't nobody checking me. Ain't nobody doing that, because that comes off a little aggressive.
Right.
But we don't have to be aggressive to be assertive. So, no, I'm going to assess the situation. I'm seeing what I see, and I'm going to go ahead and address it. Like, listen, it could be innocent, but it don't look good. And because if it don't look good to me, and I know you, just imagine what it look like to our third cousin over there who's sitting there who don't really know you.
Like, ooh, I see him over there. Mm-hmm.
Sipping AT, and you know they got the gums for days. They gonna take them dentures out, and they just be yapping.
And matter of fact, as soon as y'all leave, you're going to be the whole topic the whole night. Girl, you see how she was all up on him? I'm going to let my man do that. Me when they singled up.
Dancing? Single as single could be. Ain't had a man in 10 years.
Right.
But hey, the point is that let's be better. Let's do better. Let's communicate. Let's honor and value each other in relationships better. Let's not even allow anyone to infiltrate our relationships with our siblings or our husbands and wives like that. Like, it should be a no holds bars rule. I don't know. No one is crossing his baby. Look, I'm gonna tell you, if you my husband, I'm telling you, you're not gonna believe this. Such and such. I'm telling everybody together. I'm. You know what, Ms. I Speak Life. Y'all definitely don't want it to be me, because I'm gonna blow it up. Okay. I'm going to blow it up, but I'm known for that. You know what I mean? Even in my coming up, for whatever reason, I'm going to share this quick testimony. When I was coming up, my favorite cousin, God rest her soul, she passed away, this will be 4 years in November, the day before my birthday, right? So anybody that knows me knows I love my cousin Karima Yakima Orange. Everybody's going to know the name one day. That's my goal, right? But we were like two peas in the pod. This is my bestest cousin ever. And yes, I meant that, and I still mean that. So we're about 5 years old, where finally my mom allowed me to go to a sleepover, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not so much finally my mom allowed me to go to a sleepover, but you know, twins, a little bit more. There was a lot of back and forth. I wasn't there. I was there. So this is with my mom. Maybe I'm about 6 years old. And I go to a sleepover because my cousin Karima's there. And we're celebrating my little cousin. She was turning maybe like 3 or 4. And we're in the room with sleep, and someone comes in the room that had been used to being able to touch my cousin, Karima Yakima Orange. They've been touching her, right? They already were touching her. She didn't know how to tell nobody. She didn't know what to do. And I'll get to why. It's a reason as to why, because we were really close. Longer story short, we decided, because it's a sleepover. The first night, she slept at the head of the bed. I slept at the foot of the bed. The second night, we switched. Because you know what, we love each other that way. Okay, now your turn. You sleep at the head of the bed, and I'll sleep at the foot of the bed, mm-hmm. Right? Well, the second night, the person didn't know we switched, right? Only we know we switched. So when that joker came in the room thinking he's gonna do what he normally do, he got a whole nother person. It's me. I sound the alarm. The whole house is up. People are jacking people. I mean, things are going down.
Right.
And now we all know. You know what I mean? But no, you're not touching me. But I had something my cousin didn't have. My dad was in my life in a more constructive and positive way. He was there to validate me and tell me how valuable I was and how beautiful I was to him. And he was proud that I was his daughter. He was proud to be my father. Whereas the very person who was touching my cousin was her father.
Wow.
You understand how confusing that can be for a young person?
Right.
She couldn't tell me. And I honestly feel to this day, the way that she told me was to say, cousin, let's switch. Knowing he had came in the night before, he going to try it again. But also she knew me. And she knew that I had the one thing she didn't have. She didn't know why she didn't have it.
Right.
But she knew I had it because of who my dad was and how the relationship was. So that brought that out. But guess what? People still wanted to shove it under the rug. Yeah, he got jacked up that night. It was no way you couldn't because I made it known. But it continued.
That's crazy right there.
Because no one fully addressed it. And it's that part. And that's why I say this is not clickbait. This is for real. We can't continue to just, sweep stuff under the rug. And I'm not trying to make this real deep or anything like that. I'm just sharing it from my perspective that you definitely don't want it to be me because I'm gonna blow the situation up. I'm letting it be known. Excuse me, this joke over here, he trying to talk to me. He in complete violation. I'm telling So yeah, I don't disrespect boundaries. I have a deep respect for marriage, which twins, we talked about that was the whole point of not believing in marriage, to understanding that it was because I had this deep respect for it and not seeing the representation of it that I dismissed it, and didn't want to have any dealings with it. But being an adult now, I can say, oh no, I desire marriage and this is why. So because I value relationships and people and, some of these titles in such a way, like sibling, you my brother, you my sister, I value those titles. You my husband, my wife, I value those titles. So me personally, Ms. I Speak Life, and we're not going to keep making it a personal thing, but this is just to assure everyone this is not a clickbait situation. This is someone else's real life. This really did happen to someone. And that's why I keep saying, openly, we're not talking about this lightly because this is someone's right now situation. But it's relevant because it's been a situation and has been in different elements of it in our lives. And we just won't talk about it. So I know we got messages. You can go ahead and press play unless you have something else. I'm sorry. I got a little long-winded right there.
Twinsinc and Miss I Speak Life, the real deal versus how you feel. I'm interested into hearing about where this conversation is navigating to, because me and my homeboys have a conversation, or have a statement that we often say in conversations, that facts ain't feelings. And a whole lot of people are looking to speak their truth without the truth. So I'm interested to hear how this conversation is going to wax and wane, and where it's going to take us.
I'm going to hit play again because you have a
Thank
second
you for
message.
your comment. Thanks for joining us. Mm-hmm. Hopefully, if you're still here, you can definitely chime back in and let us know where you stand on this. The topic actually was, twins, help me.
Your brother's wife.
Go ahead, you say it.
Your brother's wife is your husband's new boo. Your brother's wife, or I think you said your brother's wife is your ex-husband's new boo, right?
Yeah, because you'll be a fool to stay with that man.
Right,
but yeah,
right.
I'm assuming he's your ex.
Right. Or then your sister's husband is your wife's new boo. So yeah.
Ex-wife new boo. Yeah,
ex-wife.
It gets crazy, and just saying it, the fact that you can't even really say it straight, lets you know it don't make no sense.
Right.
Oh, we have another message.
Yes,
so we'll go ahead and play.
Ms. I Speak Life, you said you weren't trying to make this too deep. Too late. Too late. This is definitely going deep into the conversation, and this is something that I talk to a lot of folks about, because we start talking about how women feel violated, and we also forget that children, just in tow and in full, have been violated. A lot of times we don't talk about the sexual molestation that happened to a lot of young boys, partly because of what was indoctrinated into young girls before these young girls became grown women. And so this is why I talk a lot about family dynamics, or talk to homies about, since I talk about family dynamics, because we forget that innocence is the most precious thing that a child can have, and we don't protect that enough, in my opinion. We don't educate that enough.
Agreed. And I hope you come back. I hope that we'll follow each other, because we can definitely continue to engage in those types of conversations. I know for me personally, it does hit near and dear. I laughed at the fact that he said it's too late. We're already deep, but it is deep. It itself is deep. We don't protect the innocence of children, and we talked about that a little early on in this conversation. Not sure when you joined us, but we talked about that, and trying not to just veer off too deep, because it goes so many variables of levels of betrayal and lack of parental guidance and understanding and communication, and just so many different layers to it. But definitely agree with your comment and appreciate you joining us and, engaging with us today. Twin.
I have nothing to add additional to that. But I agree to what he's saying as far as young men and they're being, touched or whatever. So I understand 100% what he's saying.
Yeah, and I think that's a topic that I'm not gonna keep putting myself in it. I'm not gonna say we, because me, like I said, I'm gonna sound the alarm. I feel like even if I'm not qualified to get a person from point A to point B, I'm gonna sound the alarm and I'm asking for help. Because in some of these situations, it can't just be talked about. It can't just be a discussion. You have to be willing to pull the person or child out of the situation. And, again, I'm not going to go too far, but this is near and dear to me. I know that this is a necessity. But us having the grit or the heart to actually talk about it is where I am now. Like, this is just the start of it. So we can have this conversation. We can definitely share the different perspectives on what we've experienced. And this is a solution-driven show as well. Let me just make mention of that. When you see The Real Deal versus How You Feel with Twinsinc and As I Speak Life, just know that we're not talking aimlessly. We are really trying to get to some type of resolute, okay, or some type of a step toward progression. So that's the goal here. That's our agenda. That's our mantra, motive, right? Position and posture ourselves for greatness. So yeah, but not to beat a dead horse though, So I'll digress right there because I see we have 2 more messages.
All right.
Shout out to both of y'all for having a conversation. Another respectful energy in the room. Dope. Yeah. Listen.
Thank you for that.
Thank you. Thanks for joining us. And thanks for the support, because these topics, they're not easy. Shoot, they are not easy to have, but they are necessary. We can't keep, avoiding them. We can't be a part of the problem and start pushing them under the rug. So go ahead and press play, Twin.
Yeah, definitely, Miss I Speak Life. We can definitely have that conversation and see if we on similar frequencies. Yeah, I got confused with the ex-husbands, brothers, wife, sisters, uncles, aunts, nieces, boyfriend, lover, friend, child. That kind of got me confused. But I think that, listen, I keep on saying it's so important for us to protect not only our energy, but also our positions and our point of view. Because it sucks that sometimes I truly do believe, this is not in mass, but sometimes you have people who had no business interfacing with each other on a sexual level and should have probably just dated and become friends so that they could introduce somebody to somebody else. And they end up not having any sexual discipline, fucking getting together, quote unquote, for lust, not love, and then end up in another situation. I'll continue the message. I was trying to send something, but it didn't take on the continue of the message. But yeah, so it just depends on the dynamics with which they kind of came into a position. Because I don't know how I would feel if I'm with somebody and I'm like in love, not I fell in love, but I'm like in the essence and the being and the ethos of like what our love and our partnership is actually going to be and going to look like. And I'm not with this other person anymore. I don't know that I would care. I would hope that like I would look at my homie and be like, or my cousin or my family member and say like, all right, what were the dynamics that put you in this position? Because I've also heard of stories where somebody may have died and somebody was very close to the family. Very rare situations. Is it a family member, but they've ended up with that person because there was such a intimate bond and exchange that was unspoken but kind of understood. So
again, I appreciate you being here with us and your interacting with us and your perspective. Yes, of course, it was a little confusing with the your husband. Well, you're a man, so I'm gonna just word it the way that makes sense for you, right? Your wife, brother's wife. Wait, no. Your wife.
Husband.
Your wife is now the boo to your sister's husband. I'm gonna try this one more time. Your
Yeah, I'm
sister's
gonna let you have it.
husband is now your ex-wife's boo. Yeah, there we go. I got it. Your sister's husband, right? Your brother in love is now booed up with your wife, which of course eventually becomes your ex-wife. You know, for the most part, I'm sure that's how that goes. So that's what we're saying.
I'm gonna hit play.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Hey, Style, I heard you talking. You in the conversation. I wanted to challenge you on you mentioning love and that, and mentioning love and that. Like, I want to challenge that. Definitely follow me. I'll follow you back. Maybe we have a conversation. So I love talking to young, articulate men, young black men, articulate that have a perspective, and have a level of respect about them. So definitely do it.
Yeah, I was trying not to chime in. Thanks again too for let me try to get the name right. TBS and for I try to be, honorable for the names. What was the other one? Style?
Sorry, give me 1 second here.
What's that say? Star Architect?
Yeah.
Okay. Style. I'm gonna just call you Style respectfully. I wanted to also I was thinking about chiming in on that in part because I've already spoken about how I feel about that. I still feel it's very selfish. Yeah, I get it. You want to have your love, but on what level do you say I had my moment? Because if you love that person, I mean, you had a moment where you could have made that thing a thing. And when you made whatever decision you made to marry or to be with whomever, you made that decision, then that's what it was. And you hold to that. You be a man of your word, a woman of your word, and honor that through and through. If you're going to be okay with dismantling an entire family because you want to be able to love on somebody, to me, that's selfish. That's how I feel about the situation. And it's not really a mature way for me personally. I would be able to consider everyone else in the situation, especially if you're saying like older. The way you worded it was as if, someone passed along and now, we're at this space where I'm vulnerable. I mean, no. Mm-mm. So that's my take. I know we got a message, so you go ahead. Twins, you got anything?
Sorry to bomb y'all conversation. But anyway, the real deal for us first, how you feel. I think that right now, I don't know really where you're trying to get us to, but I think right now, I think that there's a real big disconnect about what women feel they deserve and what the way that things should be and the actual reality of what is and what has to happen for there to be harmony. This Wild Wild West world we live in puts people under the assumption that they can have things any way they want it and it be okay. Now, is that a possibility? Yes. You can gear your situation through negotiation with another person. However, let me.
I'm gonna hit play, okay?
So, follow-up question there then. How have we already broken up? Have we, disbanded our relationship and then they got together? Was there cheating? Was this like motherfucking Soul Food when motherfucker started fucking on the side and she was like, the family fucked my husband. Yes, that's right. I said it. The family fucked my husband. And she grabbed that knife, because that's a little bit different. Because now we're talking about respect. We're talking about honoring the sanctity, if you do, of that partnership. So I think that would be different because then it would be about the respect level for me. So can you give me some clarification there as well? Sorry for the animation.
It's all good. We appreciate the animation. So with this topic here, this actually is a real topic, but the couples in this conversation, they're actually not divorced yet. They're still married at this moment, right?
Let me just give the whole story real quick while we have them engaged, right?
Sure, go ahead.
Let's just I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys while we have your attention because how things could go on this app, right? So we got you. So here's what ended up happening. This is a real person situation, so we're being sensitive about how we address it, right? The woman got a phone call from her brother saying, "Hurry up and get on this Zoom call." You know they hold court on Zoom now. Hurry up and get on this Zoom call because your husband is logged in. Her husband, the sister's husband was logged in because he's now in a relationship with the brother's wife who's going through divorce court. That's what this was, divorce court. So not only did the woman notice that her husband is logged in, but the ex-wife is not even logged in as her own. So she's also logged in as her ex-husband's name as well. So when she jumped on the Zoom, toward the end of the Zoom, she could see her ex-husband's name up there twice during her brother's divorce court, meaning this is they're together. They've already, the divorce is not even final on the brother's end. It's final on her end between her and her husband, but her brother and his wife are getting divorced. So I hope that cleared it up. Again, we're not trying to go too deep into their situation because it's real and just trying to be respectable about it. But it's something that exists in our culture too much, and it does stem from lack of protection and communication, I think. So we can go ahead and press play if you got something, Twins. Go ahead.
Nope, you got it. I got it.
Yeah, Ms. Speak Live, I'm not going to disagree with you and say that it's not selfish. I think that we make love a lot of times altruistic. We think that that love is always a positive element. And sometimes love is manic. Sometimes love is depressive. Sometimes love is oppressive. I think that we moralize the actual deviations of love, like that love can't be problematic on a lot of levels. So I definitely agree with you that it would be very selfish, though.
All right, thanks for that. We got another message.
However, we are not a business-minded people, and we don't treat relationships like businesses, which we should. We should negotiate, should be give and take. I should be adding value to you when you adding to me. I should not be negotiate or critiquing what you do for me without worrying about doing my half and getting to help to get the job successfully done. We should be achieving goals together. You do your part, I do my part. We are successful, and that's how business works. And that's how relationships work. But we, for some reason, have been diluted with this image of love. And love, what love makes you do is not have good conversations, not have true conversations, not be able to be honest with each other for the sake of, because you love that person, you don't want to hurt them.
Twins, you got anything on that one? Twinsinc?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, it's kind of going down the rabbit hole for a minute there with the whole marriage thing. I believe he's coming from a place where, marriage is a partnership, right? And I think he said something about people don't have these conversations because they love somebody or something like that. Not always sure on it,
Mm-hmm.
but I kind of understand and feel where he's coming from with it, though. But I don't have really much to add to that.
You know what my definition of love is, so I don't believe that love attributes to any of these things that are associated with hate would attribute to. I don't see how they're not interchangeable in my world. So for Ms. I Speak Life, love is going to cause you to have that conversation. That's what love is going to do. Love is going to have you sit down and have the conversation, have you pull a person out of danger, or have you sacrifice, all of what you didn't make the decision to do and eat that pill for the sake of love and the entire infrastructure of a family, as it pertains to this one topic here. But, I think that when you talk about something like love, there's the Webster, Oxford, and dictionary version of what love is. And then if you're a believer, whatever you believe in, then there's that idea of what love is according to your belief system. So That's the only disconnect for me, because I believe that love will tell you, when you have an ought against your brother, it's your responsibility. I say this, I stand on it. It's your responsibility to go to that person in love and tell them why you feel offended, why you feel hurt, why you feel let down, why you feel disrespected. And of course, I'm not talking about from a child's perspective, because the responsibility is not on the children. We as adults are supposed to govern and help them navigate and protect them. So I'm talking about as an adult, once you're old enough to rather have that conversation, then that's what the expectation should be. So I know we got a message, so go ahead.
Life speaks. So you're saying you use love as a verb, and I agree with that. I think love should be a verb, but we live in a world where I think the majority people's perception of love is.
Oh, he probably gonna send another message to finish. But yeah, you're getting what I'm saying. And I mean, I know I live in a world where people think differently, but I can't base what the world thinks on where I stand, and that's part of it. Like, I'm not going to change how I feel and how I interact or what I give to anyone based on what society says is to be. It's just not going to happen. I love you easily, and that's not going to change because you're a murderer. That's not going to change because you're something outside of what I am. How I engage my love with you, though, right? Discernment will definitely kick in, and I will definitely use that just to make sure that I'm making the best decisions in how I interact with you. So that's, yeah, I'm glad you're like kind of getting where I'm coming from with that. Much respect there. Twins, you got any, last, we got another message. After this message, I guess you got any last words.
All right.
The majority of people see love as a feeling. And that's why you get so much toxicity when people break up, is because their premise of love was a feeling. So with everything, every great quality is an offset. So the people you love, you hate. So that's why there's so much toxicity on the back end, because you actually had all of these feelings for that person, and they turn into hate on the other end. So I think a relationship built on respect and loving as a verb, I think that those are things you can walk away from, because at the end of the day, it wasn't about the feeling. It was about the respect in which y'all built together.
Right. Word. That's exactly what I'm saying. And it'll be the love and the respect that would allow you to come together and end it. And in the same sense, it would be the love and respect that will have you come together and not start it, not even allow it to happen, because it is detrimental to the entire family. So I feel like that goes both ways. Because I love and respect myself, I can't wear that weight of tearing down the whole family and having a society being broken or community being broken because of my flesh or because of my desire. No. So appreciate the comment and like I said, the interaction, and you guys just joining us all together. It's time for us to wrap this thing up, though.
Yes.
So
Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in today.
You got any last?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in. This is The Real Deal versus How You Feel. Once again, we are a solution-driven conversation. So, as I stated a little earlier before, to how to identify these things is that, you need to have that conversation when you see something that doesn't feel good, address it, and, be strategic with it when you do address the scenario. When you see something that doesn't look right, when it comes to your own family, right? I mean, you should know your family well enough to not bring around certain people. But when you are in that type of space, and forget the whole titles of family, men or women, there's always be laws of attraction. So you will always be attracted to one another. So you need to understand, and when you see something that you don't like, address it in a nice, polite way, whatever. But don't let things just linger, and then later on when stuff happens, it's going to destroy everything. I'm gonna hit play, and then we'll come back. I'll let you close it out, okay?
Okay.
Speak life. I'm gonna ask you this, and I'm gonna let you go on there and try and get off. Why do you personally feel that cheating is so destructive? You personally, and then why are we allowing it as a society to end so many relationships and break so many homes when it is the natural state of a man to procreate with multiple women. It's not natural for him to be with monogamous. If it was, he could only, when you're pregnant, he would be sterile or he would have no libido. You know what I mean? And plus, with the ratio of men to women always being off, if that monogamy did happen, then there would be a lot of barren women that would not have children because there would not be enough men. So, why do you think that?
I'm gonna hit play because he replied again, and then I want you to respond. Okay.
Just to finish, because in most countries, men have multiple wives. But like I said, that was I just wanted to hear your perspective on that. I know you touched on it a little bit, and I think that we put so much emphasis on that. It's interesting that I think we are more indoctrinated with it than we actually think about it logically, which is, just being honest.
All right. So, two things. One is overall, right? We could definitely have a separate conversation about this topic because when we start talking about the ratio of women to men and the idea of polygamy, monogamy, and all of these different things, there's some statistics given in those things, but not all, right? Not who's to say that a pregnant woman is not having interaction with her husband. That's craziness. I'm a mom. You can have sex the whole 9 months if you want to. Do that. Matter of fact, they like it a little bit more. Okay? So what does that matter if you're sterile or not? So before we can even get into all of that, we have to have a better understanding of where we're coming from, you, myself, and understanding regardless of what it is we talk about, I'm going to always approach the situation from a place of love. My issue is not so much that this is the second part. My issue is not so much that cheating is the core reason or the core attributor to the demise or the breakdown or the dysfunction of the culture or families, etc. It's the betrayal. Now, in other countries and cultures, they do accept it, but guess what? They all accept it. See, now when you marry a woman and you take the vows that you're going to be this one man to this one woman, and then you try to change up and you want to go and cheat, you now have violated. She didn't agree to that. She didn't accept that. And if you couldn't adhere to the terms, you shouldn't have accepted yourself. That's where the love and the respect is. So I dislike, or I really, I guess where my energy, which you may be sensing in terms of disdain or whatever else it could be, frustration, let's just say, is because of the betrayal, the dishonesty, and the lack of respect, and the selfishness. Those are the things. It's not so much the stepping out, because people step out and stay married. So yeah, it's what the aftermath of it all is for me. So I hope I answered your question. Twins, you got anything? I know he didn't ask you, but I mean.
Nope, that was good. No, I'm gonna hit play.
Looks like you guys got a part two. Real deal. How you feel? I am here for that next one. And I know you guys got to go, so I'm not going to be on here anymore. But thank you so much for the insightful and introspective conversations. You guys did a great job.
We appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you. And I would love to have you come back. Please follow us, share it. We definitely hope that when we engage in this respectable way, it is, accepted and received well. So, yes.
Let me play.
Yeah, hit play. All right.
So next time that you guys hop on, I do have a question. Hopefully you guys write down some notes or something every now and then. Is cheating only infidelity? Because there are a lot of times that I've started to see that men and women actually are unfaithful, not by sex, not sexually, but they're unfaithful mentally. And that doesn't mean that they're dealing with anybody else. It just simply means that they have not held on to that partnership. There's no communication. Or to Miss I Speak Life, there's no love in the action term. So is cheating strictly infidelity, or are there other attributes to somebody cheating? Just, you don't have to answer that. Just something to think about for your next conversation. That just popped into my head.
Well, I definitely wrote that down, so
Cool.
that will definitely be another topic. I can almost guarantee that. Is cheating infidelity?
Well, we've actually talked about that a little bit on other topics too. If you go through the shows, you'll hear where we talk about courting versus dating, right? And when we talk about courting versus dating, we kind of tap in on what's acceptable or what's considered cheating. And what was the other one? We talked about where you talk about cheating before, or the work husbands and the work wives, right? Is that cheating? We talked about this a little bit, twins. Is it cheating before the actual physical act, right? Or you cheating your husband? We talked about because he's into sports or he's into fitness, and you letting yourself go. Remember the pastor who scolded the women in the church, telling them, y'all need to get your lives together, basically, because y'all around here roly-poly-olies, and us men, we not okay with that.
Yeah, so if you go to March 19th, we had a topic. It says, what is cheating and when is it okay to leave? So to kind of answer that question that you have there, you can go to that one. So on March 19th, what is cheating and when is it okay to leave? And that shows about an hour and 24 minutes. So
yeah, because we definitely talk about it. And not saying that it's not something to continue to delve into.
Right.
So, not to dismiss your comment, because yes, we will definitely give another stab at it, especially if you're planning to join the show. Let us know, hit us in the inbox or something. We can kind of make sure it makes sense, right? Because we don't want to just jump on here and have the conversation again. We really want you to be engaged in the conversation. So if you inbox Twins or myself, we can really just set it up so we could have that conversation and have that other perspective that you'll probably bring. So I'm really down for that. Otherwise, if it's just you want to hear what we had to say about it, Twins gave you the show date. You could definitely go check it out. We appreciate it. Share it. All that good stuff.
March 19th.
We got another one.
Yep.
March 19th.
Speak to life. I appreciate you. I appreciate the respectful way you did that. You did that without emotion, and articulate and logical. I would welcome a conversation with you. And I do understand. At the end of the day, it is about respect. And men need to stop lying. We need to stop worrying about what women want and be themselves. And we need to be comfortable in that. And they need to be raised by men in order to see that that's the right way to do things.
Facts.
And, I have two boys, and I raised my two boys about being honest and open and fully embracing themselves and who they are, and understanding where their power is as men. So, but yeah, no, I do understand it. That is disrespectful. If you get into a marriage, then it should be disrespectful. And y'all should be able to have conversation. I just don't think that we do. And I hate that our community gets decimated because we don't have good conversation. But thank you so much.
Had to give him a little love on that one because he definitely hit it all on top of the nail, the hammer on top of the nail. But yes, when it comes to any type of situation in all relationship, doesn't matter what type of relationship that you're in, if you cannot have communication, then you have nothing. You should be able to talk to your significant other about anything in the world, regardless how they feel. You may have to approach it a certain way so no one's feelings being hurt, but you got to have the communication. If you don't have the communication, guess what? You're not going to have nothing at all. But Ms. Speaker Life, I'll let you close it out from there.
Okay, so thank you. Yes, I appreciate the sound effects, Twins, the applause. It was on point and on time. Thank you so much for understanding. I definitely hope that you guys come back. Again, hit Twinsinc or myself in the inbox. Let us know, when you guys like to talk, because we are here Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. With the show is The Real Deal versus How You Feel. You guys can follow us on Instagram, on YouTube. Subscribe, please. And if you need to send an email, you can send one to The Real Deal versus How You Feel at gmail.com. In addition to just going ahead and hitting us up on our individual profiles, which are attached to the our individual social media pages that is attached to our profile. In closing, like I said, the applause was on point. I'm more so applauding the fact that we could have such a heavy, for lack of better words, conversational topic in this respectful, engaging way to show the very thing he said we need, right? He's saying that we don't have these conversations. And what Twinsinc and I are very intentional about doing is proving and changing the narrative. We can have these conversations. We do. We do it each week, right? So it's just a matter of having the value and understanding the value in yourself, loving yourself enough to be confident enough to stand 10 toes down on who you are, what you believe, and how you feel, being hostage to where you've been, what you've gone through, and how you feel at the same time. So I wanted to say the applause was really, really good because we're showing this is exactly what we're doing. So thank you guys again for coming in and engaging with us. It's been a dope show. Yes, it will definitely have to be a part 2. And Twinsinc, sometimes we do come back on a Friday because Fridays for some reason be hot. But we haven't previously, prior to the show, had a conversation about possibly coming back at 7 or anything. But again, follow us, and then you guys will be able to see because we will let you know if we decide to swing it back around or if we'll decide to do this again on next week sometime. Twinsinc, appreciate you, brother, and that's all I have.
Enjoy.
See you guys on Monday. Bye.
Bye.